Hey everybody, how's it going? It's the Daily Shooter, and today we're going to be talking about the new AimPoint ACRO P-1. This is AimPoint's first venture into the pistol optic market. This is pretty cool, so let's go ahead and check it out. This SHOT Show coverage is brought to you by the following sponsors. Olight, stay tuned for a new product announcement. Barrel and Blade Tactical Outfitters, tactical EDC and survival gear delivered monthly. Cali Key, bolt action AR. Cross Armory, reloading reimagined. And Swamp Fox Tactical Optics. Now, with the ACRO being a brand new optic and something completely new to AimPoint, I was really excited to check it out. So on day one of SHOT Show 2019, I did a beeline over to the AimPoint booth, I took out my cameras, and this is what I saw. Now, as you guys take a closer look at the ACRO, you're going to notice that it's kind of unique looking. Some people are going to like it, some people are not going to like it. My own personal opinion, I think it looks like they took a travel trailer, parked it on the top of your pistol, cut the ends off it, and said, hey, look, you have a red dot. That's just what it looks like to me. It looks like a mobile home on the top of your optic. But it was designed that way specifically with the intent of actually defeating some of the potential issues that you could have with other red dots. So when you're looking at this and you compare it to like a Trijicon RMR, a Loophole Delta Point, a Holosun HS507C, obviously it's going to look different. But after talking to the AimPoint rep, it makes perfect sense why they did it this way. So again, this is a completely unique design, and like I was saying before, AimPoint designed it this way specifically to overcome some of the potential problems that could arise using open air optics. For instance, the emitter, basically the light source that projects your red dot onto the glass that your eye then sees. In these other optics like RMRs, Holosuns, Delta Points, so forth, the emitter could get blocked, and if the emitter is blocked, the light doesn't hit the glass, and when you put your pistol in front of your face, you're not going to see any type of aiming point. So with the red dot located inside a completely enclosed housing and behind the ocular and objective lenses, you're not going to get anything blocking that emitter. So every time you pick it up, you know that you're going to see that red dot. So I do like that design aspect as well. Another aspect that they're trying to overcome is the fact that most optics that are open air have glass that is sort of set back in a protective housing, and so it kind of gives it that cup effect when you have it in your holster and you have the glass, which is protected by, you know, that outer source of metal. It could fill with different types of debris, and when you pick it up again, you could have you know, some obstruction in your vision. It's just one of those things where it's probably not going to happen, but it could happen, and so they wanted to overcome that. On this optic, on the ACRO, the rear lens is actually kind of flush. So if you did pick it up and there was something on it, it would just take a second to just wipe it off and go, where you'd have to get your thumb inside of most of these other optics, their protective hoods, in order to get that same debris off. So when you put the optic in front of you, there's more of a likelihood that you're going to have a clear image and that your emitter is not going to be blocked, and so it does overcome some of that by having a completely enclosed structure. It does also protect some of the electronic components by having everything completely enclosed. I mean, AimPoint's known for its durability and its toughness, and so you know if they're going to be making a pistol sight, it's almost for sure going to be as tough as a lot of their other sights as well. They do say that it is rated to exceed 20,000 rounds of .40 Smith & Wesson, so it's definitely strong and can withstand the G-forces of a reciprocating slide under, you know, high tension like a .40 Smith & Wesson or something like that. Now, sticking with the overall design, one of the things I really liked about this optic, and I know this is just minor, but it's those little minor things that add up, right, is the location and style of their brightness level buttons. So some optics have two different buttons that are located on the left and right that are parallel to the slide, and sometimes I have to remember which one makes it brighter, which one makes it dimmer. The Trijicon RMR has a button on either side of the optic, and so you have to remember which one makes it brighter and which one makes it dimmer. On the AimPoint ACRO, they're on top of each other, and there's an arrow up and an arrow down. So that's kind of stupid proof. As long as you put your fingers on there or a finger on there, you know that as long as you're pushing the top, the brightness level is going to go up. You push the bottom, the brightness level is going to go down. So it just kind of takes that which one was which thing away from it, so you don't have to fumble with it at all. And again, I know that's small, but it's those little details that do kind of add up. Now, I actually have a cheat sheet here that tells me some of the exact specs and details of the ACRO so that I can give you guys correct information. But one thing that this doesn't tell me is how many brightness levels there are. I can tell you that it gets extremely bright and it gets extremely dim. As a matter of fact, it does say on here that it has 4 different night vision levels. So I assume if it has 4 different night vision levels, it probably has at least 6 to make it a total of 10 brightness levels. And while I was using it in the bright lights of SHOT Show, I could see it no problem. As a matter of fact, it actually got too bright and I had to tone it down a little bit. So it definitely gets bright and it does get night vision dark. It has a 3.5 MOA dot on it, weighs about 2.1 ounces. Now, this thing also is completely waterproof, so I believe it is submersible to 25 meters, which is 82 feet. So if it is submersible and completely waterproof, you know that if you're going to drop it in a puddle or it's going to start raining, something like that, you're not going to have any problem whatsoever. And again, the way that it's designed, being completely enclosed, is going to be just like an AimPoint Micro T1 or T2. The water, you can just wipe it off, dry it off, and just, you know, continue going. It's not going to be an issue because it's not going to let that water hit the emitter. Now, one problem that I see with the AimPoint ACRO, or one thing that I was a little bit disappointed in, was the overall battery life. Instead of going with the standard CR2032 battery, they went with a 1225 battery, which is a little bit smaller and reduces the amount of battery life that you're going to get out of this optic. It is a constant on optic, but you're only looking at about 1 year. So unlike a lot of other AimPoint micro red dots that could potentially last you 5 years or 50,000 hours, this one seems to be around 10,000 hours, about 1 year of constant on with that 1225 battery. Nice thing is though, even though it's a completely enclosed optic, it does have a battery slot on the side, and so you can go ahead and access the battery and change your battery without taking the optic off of the mount. Now, speaking of mounts, the ACRO actually takes a proprietary mount, but that doesn't mean you can't mount it on all of your different pistols. What you cannot do is take the ACRO as it is and mount it into an RMR cut, put it on a Smith & Wesson core slide or a Glock MOS slide, something like that. You would have to get the corresponding mount from AimPoint, put that on the ACRO to get it to fit that MOS slide, or get the mount that works with the RMR cut, mount that to the ACRO, and then put it in your RMR cut. And the same for the Smith & Wesson core slides and other slides as well. So they're going to have their own proprietary plates that will fit those specific pistols. So you'll be able to mount it to whatever you want. So that's good in the fact that you have options for every single pistol, even though I'd like to see a standard footprint. Somebody standardize a footprint. Like the Trijicon RMR seems to be the most popular footprint that's out there for these slides. So I'd like to see something like that standardized, so every optics manufacturer, sort of like Picatinny or M-Lock, could simply make something that would fit right in there. Nonetheless, knowing that you have the ability to switch it between all these different pistols using, you know, whatever mounts that they offer, which they say are going to be sold separately and as well as with the optic as well. So you do have different options as far as purchasing that as well. These AimPoints are going to be available over at opticsplanet.com, so when they become available, you can use the discount code TDS5 and save 5% off of your entire order. Hi, Cal. This right here is a cheat sheet that I got from the AimPoint booth, and on this card right here, there is some information that I just want to go over with you to make sure that I didn't miss anything. So again, it's a 3.5 MOA dot. It is the size of 1.2 by 1.2 inches by 1.9 inches, again submersible. It is shock tested to withstand 20,000 rounds of 40 Smith & Wesson. It does have the 1225 battery, and it weighs 2.1 ounces. On the back here, they have a picture of a guy using it with a Safariland holster, and they have some different pictures of the mounting system as well. So, you know, what you can mount it to seems to be sort of universal. Nonetheless, I'm really excited for this thing to come out. I want to get one in my hand so that I can test it for you guys and do more of a review, because this is kind of like just a first look. I mean, that's what happens. You go to SHOT Show and you get a bunch of first looks at things, but until you get a chance to test it out, see if there's any bugs that come from the factory or things that need to be changed, maybe there's recalls. I mean, you never know, right? Until you actually get to that full review, you never know exactly what to expect. But I hope you guys enjoyed the first look at the ACRO from AimPoint. Like I said before, it's unique, but it also has some really good upsides and maybe just a couple downsides with the battery life and so forth. Other than that, I gotta say it's a solid optic. I'm gonna say that this is something that's intended to be more of a combat optic and an optic that is more for battle versus something that's gonna be for competition, but definitely something worth checking out. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day. This SHOT Show coverage is brought to you by the following sponsors. Olight, stay tuned for a new product announcement. Barrel & Blade Tactical Outfitters, tactical EDC and survival gear delivered monthly. Cali Key, bolt action AR. Cross Armory, reloading reimagined. And Swamp Fox Tactical Optics.